Ladies and gentlemen, success is not created by doing many things at once. Success is created when you decide that one thing, just one thing, matters more than everything else. The world tells you to multitask, to chase multiple goals, to split your energy in 10 different directions. But mastery, true mastery, is born from focus. When you are clear about what you want and you direct all your energy toward it, your life changes. You don't need to be the most talented person in the room. You don't need the highest IQ. You don't need perfect circumstances. What you need is focus so intense that distractions lose their power over you. Because the person who masters one thing will always outperform the person who is average at many things. Think about this. Every master you admire, an athlete, an artist, an entrepreneur, became great because they gave themselves to one craft with total commitment. They repeated the same actions again and again when others got bored. They stayed when others quit. They practiced when others were distracted. That repetition is what builds mastery. But to do this, you must be willing to eliminate. Eliminate distractions, eliminate excuses, eliminate the habits that steal your time. Because every minute you give to something unimportant is a minute stolen from the thing that could transform your life. And here is the truth most people don't want to hear. Progress demands obsession, not a mild interest, not a part-time effort. Obsession, the kind that keeps you thinking, learning, improving even when no one is watching. The kind that pushes you to show up when you don't feel like it. The kind that refuses to settle for average. Ladies and gentlemen, clarity is power. Most people are not failing because they lack ability. They are failing because they lack direction. They wake up every day reacting to life instead of designing it. They move, but they do not move with purpose. They work hard, but they do not know exactly what they are working toward. And when your direction is unclear, your energy becomes scattered, your focus weakens, and your results become average. The moment you become absolutely clear about what you want, something shifts inside you. Your mind starts filtering opportunities differently. Your decisions become easier. Your time becomes more valuable. You stop saying yes to things that don't serve your goal, and you start saying no without guilt. Because when you know where you are going, you no longer waste energy wandering. Clarity is like turning on a light in a dark room. The obstacles that once looked frightening begin to make sense. The path that once looked confusing becomes visible. You begin to see the next step, and then the next, and then the next. You don't need the whole staircase, you only need to see the next step clearly. And clarity gives you that power. When you are clear, your confidence grows, not because you have all the answers, but because you know what you are committed to. You know why you wake up in the morning. You know what deserves your time and what does not. This level of clarity eliminates doubt, hesitation, and procrastination. Most people delay action because they are not sure. They say, "I'll start when I'm ready." But readiness comes from clarity, not the other way around. Once you decide exactly what you want to master, your brain starts looking for ways to make it happen. Ideas appear. Opportunities appear. Solutions appear. Why? Because clarity trains your mind to focus on what matters. Clarity also creates emotional strength. When challenges come, and they will, you don't quit easily because you remember why you started. Your goal is not vague, it is vivid. You can see it, feel it, and believe in it. That emotional connection gives you the strength to push through discomfort. So take the time to define what you want with precision. Be specific. Be bold. Be certain. This is the power of incremental progress. Small actions repeated consistently create extraordinary results. Repetition teaches patience. It reminds you that progress is earned, not given. It teaches you to trust the process, even when you cannot see immediate rewards. And as you continue, you begin to take pride in the practice itself, not just the outcome. The difference between amateurs and masters is simple. Amateurs practice until they get it right. Masters practice until they cannot get it wrong. That level of skill only comes from repetition that is focused and intentional. So commit to doing the same important action every day. Embrace the routine. Respect the process, because repetition is not boring. It is the pathway that turns effort into excellence and effort into mastery. If you want to master one thing, you must learn to eliminate distractions relentlessly. Distraction is the silent thief of potential. It does not attack you with force. It pulls you away gently, minute by minute, until your time, energy, and attention are drained without you even realizing it. And by the end of the day, you feel busy but not productive, active but not progressing. The truth is, your focus is one of the most valuable assets you own. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is constantly scattered between notifications, conversations, random tasks, and unimportant activities, you cannot give your best to the one thing that truly matters. You end up giving fragments of yourself instead of your full power. Eliminating distractions is not about having more time. It is about protecting the time you already have. It is about being intentional with how you spend your hours. It is about deciding in advance what deserves your focus and what does not. Because if you do not decide, the world will decide for you. This requires courage. You will have to say no to things that feel urgent but are not important. You will have to turn off notifications, step away from unnecessary conversations, and sometimes distance yourself from environments that do not support your goal. This is not selfish, it is necessary for growth. When you remove distractions, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes calmer. Your thoughts become clearer. You are able to work with depth instead of surface-level effort. You start completing tasks faster and with higher quality because your mind is fully present. Distractions also come from within. Doubts, overthinking, and fear can interrupt your progress just as much as external noise. You must learn to recognize these mental distractions and redirect your attention back to your purpose. Discipline is not only about controlling your environment, but also about controlling your thoughts. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your ability to concentrate. It becomes easier with practice. What once felt difficult becomes natural. You begin to enjoy working with intensity because you see the results it produces. Protect your attention as if it is priceless, because it is. Remove what does not serve your goal. Create an environment that supports your focus, and watch how your productivity, confidence, and progress increase when distractions no longer control your life. Progress demands obsession. Not a casual interest, not a temporary burst of motivation, but a deep, relentless commitment that keeps you moving forward when comfort invites you to stop. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not always the most balanced. They are the most committed. They think about their goal when they wake up, when they work, and even when they rest. Their mind keeps returning to the one thing they have decided to master. Obsession gives you an edge that ordinary effort never can. When you are obsessed with improvement, you begin to notice details others ignore. You ask better questions. You search for better methods. You do not settle for average performance because average no longer satisfies you. You are constantly looking for ways to refine, improve, and grow. This level of commitment separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers talk about what they want. Doers cannot stop thinking about how to achieve it. Their actions reflect their thoughts. They read more, practice more, and invest more time because their desire is stronger than their excuses. Obsession also helps you push through discomfort. There will be days when you are tired, bored, or discouraged. But when you are deeply committed, those feelings do not control you. You continue because your goal matters more than your mood. You show up because the work is more important than how you feel in the moment. When you are obsessed with progress, time stops being something you waste. It becomes something you value. You start planning your days around improvement. You become protective of your schedule. You remove activities that do not contribute to your growth because they feel like obstacles rather than entertainment. This kind of focus creates momentum. You begin to see results faster because your efforts are consistent and intense. Small improvements start to add up. And before you realize it, you are operating at a level that once seemed impossible. Obsession is not about losing yourself. It is about finding your highest potential. It is about caring so much about your growth that you refuse to live an average life. When you develop this mindset, progress becomes inevitable because your commitment is stronger than any challenge that stands in your way. Mastery changes identity. At first, you begin with effort. You tell yourself you are trying to improve, trying to stay disciplined, trying to stay focused. But as you continue to show up day after day, something deeper begins to shift. You no longer feel like someone who is attempting to grow. You start to see yourself as someone who is disciplined, committed, and capable. This internal transformation is where real power lies. When your identity changes, your actions follow naturally. You do not have to force yourself to work hard because hard work becomes part of who you are. You do not struggle to stay focused because focus becomes your normal state. You stop negotiating with yourself because you no longer see excuses acceptable. Most people struggle because their identity does not match their goals. They want success, but they still see themselves as inconsistent. They want mastery, but they think of themselves as easily distracted. As long as this gap exists, progress feels difficult. But when you align your identity with your actions, growth becomes natural. Every time you practice your craft, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are casting a vote for a new identity. You are telling yourself, this is who I am becoming, and over time, that belief becomes stronger than any doubt you once had. This new identity also changes how you handle challenges. You no longer ask, can I do this? Instead, you say, oh, this is what I do. That confidence does not come from words, it comes from proof. You have evidence from your own actions that you are capable of handling difficulty. As your identity evolves, your standards rise. You no longer accept average performance from yourself. You expect more because you know you can deliver more. This expectation pushes you to keep improving, even when you have already achieved significant progress. The most powerful transformation in mastery is not what you achieve. It is who you become in the process. When you see yourself as a master in the making, your behavior, mindset, and results begin to reflect that belief. And once that identity is formed, nothing can stop you from continuing to grow.